Good afternoon. I'm Tina Tasaka with the Lotus Broadcast, and this afternoon we have a hospitality company, a tech company specifically called Nappr. I like Nappr because I like naps, but I never get to take a nap. Jared Lerner, do you ever get to take naps?
I do. Yeah, I work from home, so it's convenient for napping. But a lot of people don't have that opportunity, so that's where we come in.
So true. Jared Lerner, you are the chief sleep evangelist. So I am so proud to say that I get to interview a chief sleep evangelist, which I hope that I'm one of the few on the planet that actually gets to interview someone with that title.
Yeah, and it's
Welcome to
great to
the
be here.
show.
Thank you
Welcome
for
to
having
our
me.
show.
Great to be here. And yeah, love talking about naps and sleep and everything else. So
For sure. So let's first talk about your title. How did that come about? Chief Sleep Evangelist.
yeah, Chief Sleep Evangelist and ZZZEO instead of CEO. Um,
ZZZZO. I love
yeah,
that.
I like to have
Okay.
fun with this stuff. I'm creative and just like to do things a little differently than the status quo usually. So there's so many CEOs out there. Why can't there be a ZZ CEO?
You
So
got that
that's
right.
kind of something that just popped into my brain one day and put it on LinkedIn. So yeah.
What are some of the other titles in your company that are fun and, you know, fun and frilly that we want to hear on this podcast?
Actually, everyone else has a normal title to date, but if I asked them to change it and make it something fun, I don't think anyone would be opposed to it. I just haven't really brought it up to them. So yeah, we have a CMO, a CFO, a CTO, product designer, but might change that in the near future. We'll see.
So maybe they have to stay with the company a certain amount of, maybe they have to have some tenure in the company and then they get to graduate and they get a really cool sleep title.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to someone being a ZZZ, MO or any other title like that. So, up to them if they want to do it.
Hmm, that's so fantastic. So you guys are a tech company. And you guys have built a platform specifically for the hospitality industry. Do you work with any other industries besides hospitality?
Yeah, we kind of border hospitality, travel, and health and wellness. So we
Hmm.
are all about sleep and sleep health and getting people rest during a hectic day. Obviously, this is a lot of travelers. So, travel is definitely an industry that we're focused on, but we are at hotels, so hospitality is another main industry for us. So we kind of straddle three or four different industries. Future of work is another industry that, we're in as well because you can use a room for a few hours to get some work done, take a meeting, take a call. So,
Yeah, so let's get right into the heart of it. I mean, let's get into kind of the reason why you started the company. I'm going to kind of set the tone for the generic reason and then let you talk about why you guys started the company and when you guys started the company. But hotels have been around for a long time, obviously. They've been around for centuries. And, there was always, typically in a hotel, you can check in at 3 p.m. and you have to leave at 11 in the morning. That's not even 12 hours. I mean, you don't even get time to really enjoy this property or spend time in a hotel. And yet, people are going all over the globe, they're traveling, they have unique needs, everybody is different. Sometimes somebody just wants a room for 3 hours. They want to clean up, they need a quick shower, they're traveling about the globe. They don't want to stay in the airport. They need that room for a specific reason. They want to knock out a conference call. They want to, just, they have some kids with them. They want to, have 6 hours of time with their kids, quick shower before they travel on to Jakarta or they're moving on to Tokyo or they're flying into Paris, whatever that reason may be. So there is what's called a day use room in hospitality. And it started to get popular back in the 70s because airline crews needed day use rooms. Airline crews are constantly bouncing in and out of rooms and they're only using them for, 6 hours or 8 hours. And so this day use room concept came up. And you guys have really perfected it. You have now opened it up to the consumer. You've opened it up wide to the consumer, and you've opened it up with this platform whereby now somebody can really book a day use room. They can find it in the nearest city. They can find it somewhere. They can find a hotel that they love, and they can now book this day use room. Do I kind of have that right?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head pretty much. We are unlocking daytime inventory that is usually just sitting there empty at these hotels. Some of them have 40 or 50% of their rooms vacant between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m., or even other times too. And they're not making any money off those rooms when they're empty. And on the flip side, consumers don't always need an overnight stay, like you mentioned. 3 p.m. to 11 a.m. or sometimes 10 a.m. is the typical overnight stay. And it is a very antiquated model because not everyone needs that time block, right? You land early on a red eye at 7 a.m. and you can't check into your overnight hotel until 3 p.m. That's 8 hours where you're exhausted and stranded. And the last thing you want to do is pay for 2 nights at a hotel when you didn't even stay the night before because you got there at 7 a.m. So we enable people to book, in this instance, 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. for a lot cheaper than the overnight rate at this hotel. And then they can go on to their overnight hotel afterwards. And they're getting rest because they're probably exhausted coming off the flight. Most people don't sleep well on red eyes. I certainly don't. I can't sleep on planes at all. So this type of solution is really helpful in that instance when you're tired and you're trying to adjust to a new time zone and you just want to lay down and rest somewhere. And we give people that opportunity with these day rates. So it's a lot of other use cases as well, of course. Could be a layover, a delay. If your flight's delayed 6 hours, who wants to sit in an airport for that long? It's not the most fun place to be. You'd rather be in a private room where you have a
Only if you
desk
have
in the back.
access to the club.
Yeah, the lounges
And
help.
now that's super expensive, and the exclusivity has become so tremendously expensive, and the clubs
Yeah,
are so booked.
they're very
You're
booked.
standing in line to get into the club, and now the clubs are full.
Yeah, I love the Centurion Lounge, but half the time I have to wait like an hour to get into one.
That's
And
right.
even
Yeah.
even when you do get in, they don't have beds. So if you're very tired, you're not going to want to park and lay down in a lounge in public because there's a bit of a stigma there. Even though it's a private lounge and it's probably very safe, people don't really want to sleep in public like that. So,
You really
it's
don't. And the fear of falling asleep in an airport and having your stuff secured. I mean, like, if you're laying down, now you've got to have your purse strapped on you. You've got to
Mhm.
have your bag between, you've got to have your bag secured with you. Is somebody going to walk up and steal your stuff? It's just, there's no lockers in airports except the Honolulu airport. Eh,
Right.
it's just not a good situation. Yeah.
It's not a good
Well,
situation, and it's a very uncomfortable nap. Every time I see someone slouched in a chair at the airport or laying on the floor, taking a nap, it makes me a little sad because I know they're not getting good sleep that way, and they're just kind of forcing themselves to nap at that point, but not
It's
ideal.
it's not good sleep. It's unsanitary and it's freezing. It's not, the airports are so cold.
Yep,
Well,
exactly.
let's talk about how do you guys get inventory into your platform from the hoteliers? How do you get inventory? And let's talk about some of the key cities that you're in, some of the cities where you have the most inventory.
Sure. So we get a lot of our inventory through partnerships. We're an aggregator right now, like Kayak or Priceline or any of those other guys. And that's how we've really grown and scaled to 1,140 hotels to date, with 6,000 more coming in the next week. So we're very excited about that.
Are you
Uh,
serious? Okay, let's hold off on that too, because I want you to make more of an announcement about that. Okay.
sure. But yeah, it's really helped us scale that way. We get our inventory through an API, and we take the times and prices, it's real-time data, put it right on our website, and people can just go to our website, book it, and then you go and pay at the hotel. So it's a very seamless experience for them. We have every major brand on our platform, from Marriott to Hilton, Hyatt, Sheraton, Sonesta, IHG, and a lot of boutiques as well. We actually see half of our bookings from boutique hotels. So it's a really great mix. And you mentioned the cities. So New York is our biggest city to date. We have 80 hotels here, and it's our headquarters. I'm here as well, so I can put up flyers and market it here and tell all my friends and family about it. So it's a very good way to get bookings, and it's a very exhausted city. So a lot of people are traveling through here. They're just busy on their daily grind, and we see a variety of use cases here. So it's been a very nice place to be headquartered for this sort of thing. We also get a lot of bookings in Los Angeles, Miami, San Francisco, Chicago. These are all big cities inventory wise for us. Um, Texas is another big place for us. And then Canada actually is our second biggest supply country. So we've gotten decent amount of bookings there. We
East
are
Coast or West Coast, Canada?
mostly East Coast. So we have a lot in
I,
Toronto and
I
Montreal.
would think so. Toronto Airport, it's a hub from Europe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
We
you've
have,
got, yeah, yeah, I would think so.
and we're also in 30 countries total. So it's not just North America. About 75% of our inventory is North America, but the other 25 is really scattered across the globe. So we've gotten a lot of bookings in the United Kingdom, the Philippines, and several other places. So it's in a lot of places. We're trying to be everywhere. That's the global vision to be in every city in the world someday.
Well, and you had mentioned that people can book on the website, but you also have a mobile app.
Yes, that's correct. We have our mobile app on both app stores, iOS and Android, and our website on desktop or mobile. So it's very easy to search and book on any of those platforms.
That is so great. Okay, so what's the news about the 6,000 new rooms that are coming into inventory for Nappr?
Yeah, so we're very excited about this. This will put us at 7,000 plus hotels total. But through other partnerships, we're getting 4,000 more hotels in India and 2,000 more in Europe and South America. So really trying to expand our global reach and be everywhere. Like I mentioned, we'd love to be in every city someday. I would love to have 15 or 20,000 hotels on our platform by 2026. So that's one of our visions, to have as many hotels as we can possibly get our hands on, to give our users, maximum convenience and flexibility and accessibility, really. The more hotels, the better. So that's really exciting news for us. Longer term, we'd love to have consumer hosting. So people hosting their homes and apartments for hourly use. Could be Airbnb hosts who have an open day and they're just looking to get something for that day instead of nothing. So that will also create much more inventory and many more price points to choose from. And then even longer term than that, we would love to have our own brick and mortar stores in airports and elsewhere so that we can control the experience from start to finish and provide our own rooms for people. It's very hard to take a nap in an airport, as we talked about. We have a lot of airport hotels. We're at over 50 airports. But if you want to take a nap directly in the terminal, it's a very difficult experience at most airports anyway. So we want to have a presence right there in the terminal so that you can nap right before your flight, right after your flight, whenever you need to.
And going back to the Airbnb, I can see that just being an outstanding benefit to having an Airbnb because I can see someone wanting it for photo shoot, media. I can see that absolutely. Someone might want to use the garden for a photo shoot. They might want to do a podcast there.
Yeah,
All of the above. They might want to hold a little luncheon at a beautiful residence. All of the above. And again, they don't even want to spend the night. They just want to come in for six hours, do what they need to do, and get out.
right.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant to do it for an Airbnb. I can see it. I would
Yeah,
definitely utilize it in a heartbeat, particularly in the city that I'm in here in Scottsdale. There's so many gorgeous houses here and taking advantage of that. Um, as well as the hotel room situation because of the resorts here. They are so gorgeous and so lavish. I don't need to spend the night. I live here. But I
right.
do need a beautiful room to maybe do media, maybe do a podcast, maybe host a meeting, all of the above. So, I can see it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, we have
It's
11
great.
hotels in the Scottsdale area, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Well, I think you guys, I think getting 15,000 rooms is very attainable for you guys, the way at the rate that you're going now. I think that that's fantastic for 2026. I think that that's super great. And with the build of what's going on in the luxury market of just the hotel build in general of what's going on in the world right now, particularly in the UAE, New York, Tokyo, you know all the cities where all the build is going on. I mean, the hotel market is continuing to boom, the construction is continuing to boom. They're all going to want to jump on board because they're not going to want to lose that revenue of hotel room revenue. They're not going to want to miss out on that,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, it makes sense for them to really try to maximize that as much as they can. And operationally and logistically, it's not hard for them to have these day use rooms. They just need to tell a maid to clean a room faster than they normally would or on a different schedule. But we haven't heard any complaints from hotels regarding that. So they figured out how to maneuver that so that it's easy for them.
Yeah, you do bring up an interesting case though, because hotels have definitely made adjustments in the housekeeping department and they've augmented their housekeeping department, particularly when COVID came along. They didn't want the housekeeping going into the rooms because of COVID. They didn't clean the linens as often. Now you can put the little message on your bed whether or not you want your linens changed and so forth. And or they would just tell you, you know, point blank, you're not going to have service for 3, 4 days unless you specifically request it. This is
Yeah.
obviously outside of the day use, but housekeeping definitely got modified. So I would imagine that they've got to just wrap around some SOPs with housekeeping on how they're going to treat the day use rooms based on the changes that they made with housekeeping. And they're also augmenting a little bit with AI. They're doing, some hotels are doing a little bit with robots, but not too much. I mean, not yet. They're having some delivery and things like that, delivery of towels, delivery of amenities and things like that. But I don't know how much that's impacting day use rooms. Is there anything you might be able to comment on that?
I haven't heard too much about that, to be honest. I know that they're using robots for delivery of items. It's a pretty simple use case for a bot to just bring a tray of something or any item really to a room. But it is interesting to see that sort of technology being leveraged for hospitality. So I'm curious how it'll be used in a bigger scope going forward. And in terms of the day use rooms, I think it's mostly manual now. It's a maid cleaning the room and just getting it ready as quickly as they can. But I do think a robot could do that sort of thing eventually. It's not a realm of possibilities. So
So true, so true. So let's just go just one step back. In the very beginning of the podcast, there was one thing I got to ask you, and we didn't really get to address it. But how did you guys found the company?
So I actually founded Nappr way back in 2014 with a totally different idea. I wanted to have a brick and mortar store where people can go take naps whenever they needed to with a membership model. And I still like that idea, which is why I want to do it long term in airports. But that was a very capital intense idea. And we eventually pivoted over to a marketplace model a few years later in 2017. This was a few colleagues of mine at the time. When we pivoted to the marketplace model, my colleagues had left, so I was kind of on my own. And I was thinking, let's do an Airbnb style thing where people can host their homes for an hour or two or four. So another idea that I want to go back to. And I was ready to launch that in 2020, but then the pandemic hit and no one was staying at anyone else's homes at that point. So scrapped that, went back to the drawing board and pivoted again. And then in 2023, we were approached by one of our partners and they said, "Hey, would you want to use hotels for this? People like hotels, they can trust them and they're comfortable." And it sounded like a great idea. So it's something I totally overlooked the first time around and the second time, but that's how we launched. And that's where we where we started and how we got to where we are. So
Did you bootstrap the company? Did you get investors? What did you do to get the company rock and rolling and get the technology platform going?
so I bootstrapped this all the way up until a couple of months ago. And we finally did a friends and family round in July. So we got a little bit from that. But other than that, we're bootstrapped. So never had VC investment or angel investment, not yet anyway. So yeah, the tech part of it, I am an engineer, so I oversaw a lot of the mobile app development and the website development and was constantly refining it to really be better. And I probably put too much emphasis on the tech, honestly. But you know, it was important to me, so I always made that a priority. But yeah, had other developers come and go and other co-founders come and go. So it was a roller coaster. But I will say the team that we have today is great. I've never worked with such great co-founders in my life as you know the team we have here. Our CMO Matt's great, CFO Jeff, and our CTO as well. You know, we have a very strong unit here, and I think we're going to do great things. So very excited.
Great. And just as we wrap up, I just have just two or three more quick questions for you,
Sure.
Jared. So, do you all have 24-hour support for people to call or for hospitality company to contact you if they had a question or a problem?
Yeah, so customer support is something I take very seriously, and I've worked in support many years. So um, I do our support right now. It's not scalable, but I probably will hire someone for it very soon. So if I'm up and I see a support message come in from a consumer or a business, you know, I'll try to get back to that person or business right away. It's not 24/7, but our chat widget is 24/7 and it can answer a lot of questions. So we're about 16 hours of human support and 8 hours of chatbot support, but soon to
Excellent.
be 24 hours of human support as well after we hire someone for this.
That's excellent. So as we get ready to close out 2025, we've got a new year upon us, the year of the fire horse. We are leaving the year of the dragon and going into the year of the fire horse.
Okay.
So, I'd like to ask you, what does the next year look like for your company? Anything big and kind of, what does the year look like for you guys? Anything really big that you can announce, or is there something big on the roadmap that you'd like to bring forward and announce?
I think this year will be huge for us in terms of partnerships. We want to partner with airlines and consulting firms and other businesses where employees could really get a good use out of this sort of thing, especially if they're traveling a lot and consultants are always traveling and you know, probably paying overnight for a lot of their rooms when they could just be paying day rates. So definitely want to implement a lot of those initiatives. I think, you know, airlines make a lot of sense as well. The crew can use us, the delayed passengers can use us, and also the loyalty members can get a discount. So I think that'll be a big push for us to get some of those on board with this. But on top of partnerships, I think just increasing our inventory and our global reach will be big for us. We're still really trying to get brand awareness up. A lot of people don't know we exist. So, you know, just getting out there, running more campaigns, scrappy grassroots guerrilla marketing stunts are really cherished here. And I love doing those sorts of things. So I imagine we'll be doing quite a few next year on top of our paid campaigns. But yeah, I think it's just the year of really scaling big and being a global name.
Jared, that's excellent. And if you know, and we all witnessed it with what just happened with the government shutting down and with TSA and with the airlines, I'm not going to say that that's going to happen again, but there will always be delays. There will always be people traveling. Travel will continue to increase. There will always be weather delays. There will always be people that want day use rooms. There will always be people that are delayed in airports. It will always be a constant churning of people wanting these day use rooms. So congratulations to you guys. I'm one who's constantly using it as well. I mean, taking a red eye, you want to just go and put yourself in a room. So, congratulations to Nappr. It's such a great company concept. It's just fantastic. I wish you guys the best of luck. And
Thank you so
I want to
much.
thank you for coming on to the Lotus broadcast.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you so much for having me. This was great. I love talking about sleep and sleep health and Nappr in general. So really appreciate the opportunity.
Definitely, and let's definitely circle back next year, maybe middle of the year. Let's see how you guys are doing. Let's see how you're tracking, how many hotels you've got online, and just check it out at that point. Let's do that.
Sounds great. Let's keep in touch.
Okay. I'd like to thank Jared for this podcast today and Nappr. Please check them out. What is the website that they can reach, and how do they get to your mobile app?
So our website is nappr.io. It's nappr.io. And our mobile app is just nappr. Search for that on either app store and you'll find us.
Great. Everybody that wants to get a day use room, and I know all of my friends travel. I know all my family travels. I know everybody on LinkedIn travels, and there's a lot of people out there. So go check out that app, and you can get your day use room in the city that you love the most. Jared, thank you so much. We will definitely stay in touch. Everybody enjoy the holiday season, and please, if you're traveling, take advantage of these day use rooms because everybody needs them. Jared, thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm Tina Tasaka with the Lotus Broadcast.